Mama told me when I was young, come sit beside me, yeah, my only son. Well, listen closely, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode
17.
Can you believe it's 17? That's great. I mean,
Seems huge.
So, we've been enjoying reading the comments. That's probably as much fun as doing the videos. Although, doing these videos, we just sit here and talk about crap we love, right? and Southern music is really the top of it for us.
And we're learning so much just from hearing reading the comments that y'all post.
Yeah, we recently became friends with a guy named KG, who is he is a wealth of information. He's a Jacksonville guy and has been around these guys for a long time. So you'll be hearing more about KG. We hope to get him on the show real soon. It's unbelievable what's coming up. He's got some unreleased stuff that's it's mind-boggling. But tonight we thought we would stay in Jacksonville, right? Because Jacksonville, in my mind, is the home of Southern music. We know the Allman Brothers originally were there, got started, as well as a bunch of other Southern music.
It's a baseline for a lot of our Southern roots.
Yeah, and one of my favorite guitarists of all time is Drew Lombard. In fact, I might have said this before, my first child was a boy, I was going to name it Drew Lombard because I just thought Drew Lombard was such an awesome guitarist and such a talented guy. In my mind, probably the best of any of those guys was Drew Lombard. Anyway, rest in peace, Drew. Tonight, we're really going to knock your socks off because we're not going to talk about Lynyrd Skynyrd directly.
Kind of a knockoff Lynyrd Skynyrd. Some guys who believed that they were Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah, and if you think that Molly Hatchet is not real,
you better think again.
I mean, Molly Hatchet, absolutely. Now, this record came out right after the plane crash.
78.
And, you know, in that whole missing piece of me, suddenly came Danny Joe Brown and three badass guitarists who, you know, in my mind, you know, Southern rock up that point had been the Allman Brothers and you know, even up to Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is more blues-influenced rock, right? I mean, it's
very much
country blues rock, right, which I love. Molly Hatchet wasn't.
No, these guys are not country rock at all.
I mean, this record came out, and the first song I guess I heard was Gator Country. And I just thought, oh my God. In a way, they gave homage to Lynyrd Skynyrd in that song while they were kind of like, you know, they were just saying that Gator Country was better than anywhere else, I guess. But I just, you know, I got the record, and then you hear Bounty Hunter with the famous line in it.
Do you know $500 that gets your head blown off?
It will. Yeah, I mean, and there's an argument to be said, was Danny Joe Brown the very best or most powerful vocalist of all these bands? You know, it's hard to argue when you listen to all this stuff.
I think his vocals, along with these guitars, really does knock your socks off a little bit.
Mean, you got Dave Lubeck, you got Dwayne Rowland, I mean, Steve Holland. It's just, these guys were unbelievable. If you ever watch some of the videos on YouTube of the real Molly Hatchet back when they were unbelievable. And I loved them from the get-go. There were people that said, oh, they're a Skynyrd knockoff, like you said.
They're a clone. They admitted to being Skynyrd clones. I mean, the three-guitar attack, how can you debate that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were proud of homage. They grew up listening to these bands come through Jacksonville, and so they knew what worked, and I don't say it's a knockoff, and I don't even think they were copycats.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, their music was way too original. And just to confirm, there was not a sophomore jinx. They hit us right in the face with Flirting with Disaster. You still hear these songs today. I mean, from the title track all the way through this record. I mean, it's a stronger record, I think, than the first one overall, because I think every song on here is just fantastic. It starts off with Whiskey Man. Even stuff like It's All Over Now, One Man's Pleasure, Gunsmoke, Long Time. Every one of these songs, this record, is listenable and could well be a single on its own. Of course, you know, radio never let Southern rock become singles. You know, it was sort of on the album-oriented rock stations. But the record right here, I mean, how can you not love Flirting with Disaster?
These guys weren't radio friendly, but their sound was the real deal. We know that.
Yeah, everything about them. And when you read about how they came up tough, listening to these other bands, and they've seen these other people make it, right? And then they decided, you know, what their formula was. And their formula was rock and roll.
It was guts and glory. It's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, big time rock and roll. And I want to just mention this record.
Well, there's Jimmy Farrar, who when Danny Joe Brown kind of took a medical liaison, I guess. Jimmy Farrar came in there, and they did a little bit good on this album.
Joe, I still Power Play off this record.
It's a great song.
It's an unbelievable song. I still I play it and yeah, I just think it's great. You're a Lady Luck guy.
I love Lady Luck. I think it's just a cool song.
Yeah, and so Jimmy Farrar, I don't know where that guy is now, but he was not a bad substitute.
Yeah.
Way better than that guy for 38 Special, Jay
Whatever his
Groenenthal,
name was.
whatever his name was. Max Carl.
Max, whatever.
Carl.
His alias, his name.
No. And but then Danny Joe came back, right?
No Guts, No Glory. This album, again, didn't get a lot of airplay. You know, this album is solid.
Well, Fall of the Peacemakers.
It's a classic.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that is an absolutely great song. I tell you another song on this. It wasn't written by them, but it's a song called Kinda Like Love.
I love that song. It's a good song.
Kinda Like Love by Molly Hatchet. It rocks. I mean, it's Danny Joe Brown
Yeah.
at his very best. And again, this is a record with no bad songs on it.
It's kind of like love,
But
it's not.
You know, look at Danny Joe Brown. This guy's a badass guy, right? I mean, there's nobody like him. I just, doggone it, man. I mean, he has some health issues. But I don't know.
Diabetes before it was really treatable, I'm sure.
You know, we want to forget this record, right? Satisfied Man.
What a great song.
Stone in Your Heart. Song for the Children. She does. Good Smoking Whiskey. I almost forgot about that.
There's just so many songs.
Oh my God.
These guys were the real deal.
I mean,
you know, smoke and whiskey and sex. And it's rock and roll, man. That's what rock and roll is made of.
It's mind-boggling why these guys aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you
Yeah,
what.
Blondie can be there. Why isn't Molly Hatchet? I mean,
This is rock and roll at its best.
yeah, these guys are the epitome of kicking ass rock and roll.
They laid it down.
I mean, right in your face. And I don't know. I'm a Lynyrd Skynyrd guy first, right? And I'm a Southern music guy second. But Molly Hatchet.
maybe these guys weren't Hell House trained and into Ronnie's orchestra settings in perfect ways. They recorded everything perfectly. These guys, I bet we didn't record everything just perfectly because this sound is astronomical.
Yeah, and they brought in one of Cheap Trick's producers to do them, Tom Werman. So this was some serious stuff, you know. And you can read the back of the first album and start learning a little bit about the band. But the Jacksonville roots, the growing up listening to Skynyrd, seeing how it all fit together. I mean, this made Molly Hatchet big.
Me and my buddy Jonathan, we were all about these Molly Hatchet songs. I mean, No Guts, No Glory. The stuff in there that you just listen to, we listen to all the time.
Yeah, and it's kind of more your generation, right? Because you're about the age I was when Skynyrd came out.
Kind of hit me right in the face, too.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not? And this is also, you got to remember, this is at a time when punk had came out, and all of a sudden these hair bands were starting up with all this gross sounding stuff, right? And right in the middle of it is Molly Hatchet.
These guys were fierce.
Yeah, man.
Fierce.
And they are who we are. We're Southern kids, right? We live in the country. We get it. We don't need all that, New York City disco stuff, right?
No soft stuff for them. No, they like the blues. Country just wasn't for them. They were not smooth. These guys were fierce.
Yeah, they were raunchy rock and roll, really, and the voice tied it all together.
His voice is just amazing. We talk about great lead singers. My gosh, Danny Joe Brown is right up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not comparing him to Skinner because it's not fair. Skinner is, in my opinion, the best band of all time, but damn.
These guys,
Molly Hatchet.
they just let it loose, man.
I know. I just,
They were fun to listen to. Everything that came out was fun.
yeah,
It was fun.
yeah.
You
Music
know,
ain't like that no more.
You know $500 to get your head blowed off?
It will. I know. And then the way he laughs, I just love the way he laughs. There's a signature to that no one can ever equal, reproduce. Danny Joe Brown and Molly Hatchet were original, and they were great. They weren't anybody's knockoff. They weren't anybody's copycat. They were Molly Hatchet, buddy. Molly Hatchet. And while we're talking about it, I mean, I've said this before. Danny Joe Brown, in naming albums and stuff, wasn't that creative. Let's face it. He named his solo record Danny Joe Brown and the Danny Joe Brown Band. And the name of the album was Danny Joe Brown and the Danny Joe Brown Band. So, this is not very original.
No.
But that record with John Galvin on keyboards and everything,
Very good. Very good album.
Edge of Sundown,
Good song.
absolutely breathtaking. And then they tied it all together. He came back and they did the live record, right? And the live record, Edge of Sundown's on there, as well as Dreams I'll Never See, and just
Their Dreams version, I believe, really ranks up there as a great version of Dreams. I mean, Danny Joe Brown laid it on the line. I mean, his vocals and their guitars made that song come alive. I really think that. I've always believed that.
Danny Joe Brown, Molly Hatchet, pretty much second to none. So we're big fans of Molly Hatchet. And
Huge.
we're going to mix in some other Southern stuff in our discussions. We have some big stuff planned for the next couple episodes. Can't wait to share it with you guys.
That upcoming stuff we've got, the information we've got from KG,
KG,
it's mind blowing. It really is.
it's just, and he's a good friend of ours, and he loves Lynyrd Skynyrd like we do, and the guys, and he knew a lot of the personal stuff. So we're going to be having KG on real soon. Anything else about Molly Hatchet though?
I could go on and on about Molly Hatchet. Their sound is just so incredible.
We have a good argument what their best song is.
I
one
mean,
day.
every one of them's great to me too.
Yeah, I don't know what I would say their best song is right now. Thinking about it, I mean,
Fall of the Peacemakers was a classic.
yeah, it's kind of their Freebird in a way,
bit. But I do believe it's vocal driven. Danny Joe Brown, just along with the guitars pushing him, just drove that band. I believe.
Yeah, I mean, oh well. Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed our talk about another band that we love from Jacksonville, and we may vote for them for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they'll never let them in. So until next time, we'll see you back here on Skinner Shorts.
18.
Number 18.
Thank you very much.
See you next time.